Today's episode of the Gambola podcast brought to you by our friends from Basketball Kicks, pare. Whether you're a fan of the PBA, NBA, ECQ, GCQ, MECQ, or any other acronyms, then B&KP is the only Facebook group you need to join to share our insights in the world of basketball. And as always, partners on the line. Partner, I'm sure you have some great news right now. Meron tayong mga bigating guests. Could you please introduce us to the show?
Medyo matagal ko na rin itong kinokontrata tong mga to actually eh. Si Yael, sinawala siya sa friends list ko sa Facebook, di ko alam bakit. Siguro.
Suplado talaga.
I created a new account kasi. Probably that's why.
Okay.
So, sige, let's start with this guy first. We go long way back. This guy is we were the same batch of junior jocks in Magic 89.9. I don't even know why I was there. Peer pressure probably. And I saw this guy grow up, and to be the man that he is now. We were teammates back then in the Basagan League. Went to the finals actually. Did we win? I forgot.
Champion!
Oh yeah, champion pala.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah, and he's now with Titan 22. And correct me if I'm wrong, you're the editor-in-chief of Slam?
Correct.
Yep. All right, his name is Nikko Ramos. Thank you very much, Nikko, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me. And of course, my other very, very good friend over here, our other guest.
Yes. All right. Going to the next one. I met this guy way back in 2010. We met at a gym. It was Coach Chappy Callanto's gym. It's a 360 Fitness Club. Gabi, tagal na nun, no? He was introduced by my sister. Of course, in Gambola. And ever since when I first met him, he was really cool. Talagang swaggy. Medyo walang pakialam. And of course, the singer of Sponge Cola. Ladies and gentlemen, Yael Yuzon.
Wow. Hindi ko alam how to react dun sa parang walang pakita. Parang I've always had pake.
Ibig sabihin parang
Naturally cool.
Yeah.
Naturally cool.
Naturally cool.
To say that this is a dream episode is an understatement. It's good to have you guys on board. Nikko Ramos, Yael Yuzon. To say that I'm a fan of both of you is an understatement. I'm sure my girlfriend is out there shouting, screaming her lungs out for you, Yael. So I'm trying to make her proud for this. So, gentlemen, let's start with The Last Dance. Unfortunately, it was the series finale kanina. So Netflix released at 3 p.m. Episodes 9 and 10. It went to a little further with the Indiana Pacers-Chicago Bulls rivalry. Also dig deep into Steve Kerr's father relationship. Also with the Utah Jazz finals and everything else. But to be honest, let's just start this discussion with one simple question. What do you guys love about this documentary as a whole? You could pick an episode, you could pick a moment, or you could pick how it was really made. I mean, probably let's start with you, Nikko. What was the thing that you really love about The Last Dance?
I really liked just how ambitious it was. 10-hour, 10-episode documentary about the basketball team. Nakakatawa nga na parang malungkot tayo na parang sayang tapos na bitin. But in retrospect, if you think about it, 10 hours over 5 weeks is a lot. It's I think a few years ago some people might have said na parang it's too much. It's too much time to
dragging.
spend talking about, even if it is about the greatest player of all time, but it was so ambitious, the scale of the story that they wanted to tell, and they did more than just talk about the 98 season, obviously. They talked about the lives of the key players, key opponents. Actually, if wala kang alam about basketball, like let's say, for example, it's not a product of it's not your fault if you're young. If it's not your fault if you're 9, 10, 11, 12 years old right now in 2020 and you're just starting to fall in love with basketball. I think more or less we're all kind of in the same general age region na when we were young, napanood natin si MJ. So growing up, kahit na matanda na tayo ngayon, yung respeto mo for MJ nandun. if you're a kid right now and you've never really seen him play outside of YouTube highlights and things like that, if you sat through these 10 episodes, you get a pretty good, history lesson, not just with the Bulls and Jordan, but just with basketball in general. And I think that's what I really love about this documentary is they're able to accomplish so many things, even outside of what they do with the Bulls and MJ. Just the storytelling, the ambition is incredible, and they delivered at a high level.
For you naman, Yael, back in the 90s when the Chicago Bulls were dominating, were you a die-hard basketball fan back then? And again, going back, what did you really love about this documentary?
Okay. Well, first of all, about the Last Dance love.
Yeah.
It was perfect kasi yung timing. Dahil I'm pretty sure there's 4 of us here right now and we're talking about basketball. I mean, kasi marami tayong sa Pilipinas. Sa Pilipinas tayo at marami sa ating mga boys like.
Yeah.
Yung parang, tapos, yung idea lang na, buto lang na cancel yung season. Tapos, maski tayo hindi tayo makalaro on our own. Even if we wanted to because of social distancing, whatever.
Yeah.
Even though there's actually a basketball court like right next to me, pero bawal gamitin. Anyway. Just the idea lang na binigyan tayo ng fix of 10 hours worth of like, I mean, hindi lang naman siya about the Bulls about their rivals, about their lives, about so much about tapos how the sport has evolved from, I think we mentioned it sa last episode, spoiler alert, parang 84 countries nag-jump to 200 plus countries yung inaabot ng NBA and how it's gotten so big. Parang ang ganda lang ng timing nun for someone na ball is life like me. Kasi end of the day, I'm a musician. Pero kung papapiliin ako, I'd rather be playing for the San Antonio Spurs. But I'm not 6'4". Not. Parang ganun yan eh. So parang, I mean, it's just such a blessing to have something like this on. And something na, alam mo, like, high prod, pinag-isipan.
Yeah.
Tsaka, like, ngayon lang pinakita na, hindi ko lang kung we're allowed to discuss specific details from the last episode, pero yung part na, minention yung part na, yung hindi alam ni MJ kung ano yung the whole gunning for a 7th title. Like, yung parang, what was the mindset behind
What was the reason kung bakit nila pinutol talaga?
Yeah, tapos parang isang mukha lang ni MJ, I'm pretty sure that he's not a good actor because, we saw Space Jam. Pero, ibig sabihin, yung reaction na yun yung natural reaction of someone who wanted another shot sana. And I'm pretty sure that given everything we've seen so far, alam natin na Michael Jordan doesn't mind missing.
Yeah.
He might, pero he doesn't like the idea of not being able to take the shot. So parang yung idea lang yun, yung last moment na yun, yung pinaka-mabigat na moment for me, aside from fathers, of course. But just the idea na he wanted another shot and the other players probably would have said yes to it. Pero parang tinigil na. So I guess yun yung price you pay for quitting na habang peak mo. Kasi some players, pwede pa silang maging parang out. Mahina na magkaroon, bench player, ganyan. Pero ito, hindi. Parang 38 points, 39 points sa mga last couple of games niya. Tapos, siya katitigil habang kaya mo kung score at will.
Yeah, he was such a dominant athlete. I think that's the one thing that really showed in this documentary. Kids, probably the millennials, when you talk about Jordan, they would probably just refer to the YouTube clips, as what Nikko Ramos has said, or to stories of their fathers. But watching those episodes, and you would see Jordan had 37, Jordan had 38, Jordan had to fight through food poisoning, Jordan had to go through all of these. Ang dami niyang moments na parang, shit, pare, magpahinga ka na. And yet, he still fought through it. For you naman, we as a huge LeBron fan, did this series exceeded your expectations? Or meron bang mga kulang na sana pinakita?
Well, to start with, I've seen most of the clips already. Most of the clips were actually recycled now. Since I've watched a lot of Jordan documentaries, Above and Beyond, Airtime, Come Fly With Me, yung mga yun, yung mga Unbeatable.
Yung mga nasa Betamax pa, nasa VHS pa, di ba?
VHS naman, hindi naman Betamax. Hindi na ako umabot ng Betamax. So, yeah, anyway, I think this, sabi nga niya, it was good timing, perfect timing for us basketball fans to have this kind of documentary since, none of us can play the game. No NBA games are live. I mean, no NBA games are being, released right now because of the current situation. And
Yeah.
this current situation gave the Last Dance more meaning to basketball fans, and it gave let's parang it gave more meaning to what greatest of all time means. Kumbaga, what Jordan is really, and what the kids missed back in the day,
Yeah.
where talagang it was not as advanced as it is now. The training regimen, the equipment, the technology that they have right now. Talagang before, it's just pure what term should I use? Talagang haragan is sa Tagalog eh. Talagang ano lang eh. This is what you have. Mag-gym ka, mag-bot ka,
Kung gusto mo,
and
kung gusto mo pa, hindi man lang siya required eh. Parang kung gusto mo, by the way, kung gusto mo magpalakas, baka pwede
yeah.
magpalakas. Ayan.
Yeah, and I also read Nico's column or article about The Last Dance before it even came out. Na it was perfect, and sa ngayon, yun naman na lumalabas eh. It is perfect. It is perfect for the basketball fans. It is perfect for even non-basketball fans. For them to have a reminder of what the Chicago Bulls were and who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, Yael. You go ahead.
just the idea rin na even if you're not even a basketball fan, you just happen to watch something. Kilala mo naman siguro si Michael Jordan, tapos
Yeah.
alam mo lang player siya ng mahaba yung shorts, nakalabas yung dila. Pero yung idea na even in any field of work, pag nakita mo yung someone na could have checked out at any point. I mean, there were times na, kunyari, yung magkaroon ka ng food poisoning. Alam mo yung ganong klaseng food poisoning kasi na-experience ko nila. And I sing for a band. Umabot na ako sa show na meron akong food poisoning na E. coli, extreme, intense. I was sleeping in an air-conditioned room na meron akong hawak na blower para hindi ako malamigan tsaka mainitan at the same time. Ganun kasama yung condition. Tapos yung idea lang na you can, pero ako, hindi naman ako itutulak-tulak ni Karl Malone eh. I mean, hindi naman yun yung gagawin ko.
Hindi ka nakikipagbanggaan.
Oo, kakanta lang naman ako eh. Tapos nagdadive ako sa mga tao, pero hindi naman sila nandun para pigilan ako from a screen eh. Alam mo, I'm not fighting over screens. I'm just performing for people and giving high vibes. Pero yung idea lang na if I had that condition, something like that, tapos kailangan mong makipaglaro ng 48 minutes and score that many points and really carry your team. And just the idea lang na parang in any field eh, parang ano yung palusot mo kapag pagod ka na or pag gusto mo naman check out from any kind of responsibility even.
Yeah.
Parang yung idea lang na inspiring nun for anyone who's working right now. Parang it's just applicable siya to everyone. Even sa mga frontliners natin, na parang dun mo nakikita yung heart of, parang heart ng mga winners eh. Ganun yun eh. Yeah. That's how they're able to do something like that every day in and day out. And that's how Jordan did it. So, timely, exacto eh. Parang ang inspiring lang talaga.
I mean, the absence of the NBA, this might be a blessing in disguise, no? In the sense na walang NBA, walang mapanood, but everyone's really into this The Last Dance documentary. And in fact, if you look at ESPN, if you look at FS1 and all these media outlets, the one thing that they're trying to bring out content is itong debate na to, diba? They're trying to bring in Jordan. Is there anyone better than Jordan? The LeBron-Jordan debate and everyone else. And the next question I'd like to ask to you guys is, should we just close the debate now? Should we close the debate forever? Is there going to be no one else other than Jordan as the GOAT? Should we just settle for that unanimously na? And I think, to be honest, that's just about it. Dun halos umiikot yung mga media circles eh. If I open my YouTube app, there's Stephen A. Smith having that nth time na debate na naman, discussion na naman. They try to invite guests. So for you guys, is the GOAT debate already over? I mean, should we just skip it? Let's talk about the second greatest player. For you, Nico, what do you think about it?
I don't know. Baka lang, maybe I'm different. I've always thought it was lazy. The greatest of all time, kind of, just from a production perspective, just from a writing perspective, given just like parang my experience of, whether it's doing stuff like this, podcasts, or, through Slam, the website, or parang in my experience on TV before. Feeling ko kasi parang pinaka low-hanging fruit topic yun. I mean, the fact that people have been the fact that people have been talking about it for the last 5 weeks is, I think, just a product of because it gets the clicks, and also there's really nothing else to talk about. Is Michael Jordan the greatest player that has played so far in the NBA. I think that's, for me personally, I think that's well clear. I think that to proclaim him the greatest of all time is by no means a disrespect to LeBron James, to Magic Johnson, to Kareem, to Wilt, to Kobe, to Tim Duncan, to these guys who, in their own respects, is also great. But I just think Michael Jordan's better. In 5 years, is some kid going to enter the NBA and average 50 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists every game? Maybe. Like I don't know. And if some kid who we haven't even met yet wins 5 straight championships, 6 straight championships, 8 straight championships, di mo masabi eh, di ba? Like parang no one thought na, look, one of the things na I remember was the stupidest, craziest stat ever was averaging triple-double for a season. And I think we were all alive when we thought na, okay, that's one of those records na, okay, medyo katangahan yung record na yan.
Wild yun.
Di mauulit yun. And then, naulit siya. Ginawa ni Russell Westbrook 2 beses magkasunod. And then we realized, okay, it's not that crazy because of the pace and stuff like that. So I mean, there's someone who's going to arrive who, like, I can't speak on the future because some 7-footer could come in and like parang just be like parang
The next dominant wing.
Yeah, the one just put out a statistical output that's better than Michael Jordan. Before naglaro si MJ, wala namang nag-isip na may mas magaling kay Kareem or kay Magic and Bird, di ba? But going backwards, I don't know. It keeps too many people interested, I guess. Pumunta ka lang sa kahit na anong comments ng kahit na anong basketball post, kahit walang kinalaman kay MJ at LeBron, parang yun yung pag-uusapan eh. Nung peak ni Kobe, MJ and Kobe din yung pinag-uusapan eh. So, I don't know. I don't really try to get too much into it, into that particular argument. There's a lot of arguments to be had, but yeah, I mean, is MJ the GOAT? If after 10 episodes of The Last Dance, di pa rin siya GOAT sa'yo, wala nang makakapag-convince sa'yo otherwise, and you're entitled to your opinion.
For you naman, V, why do you think that there are other fans, like LeBron fans, who try to change everyone's mind na, wait lang, si LeBron James, we have to consider this guy, or wait lang, si Kobe, why not him? I mean, why is there a conversation evolving around those things pa?
Well, it's recency bias plays a big part, and of course, LeBron James. I have to admit, I would be stupid to say that he's not in the top 5. He is in the top 5 for me, at least. I mean, for the eyes of most, and some millennials actually consider him as the GOAT already.
Yeah.
If they'd be honest, they consider him as the GOAT. Just because they didn't really feel they didn't really feel the impact of Michael Jordan. They weren't able to watch his games live. I used to wake up early. I used to tell my mom na it's Teachers Day, there's no classes because there's a Michael Jordan game playing. I used to do that, and then I really, I was really able to feel what Jordan was made of, and he was just different, man. He was just different from anyone who's playing right now. His mystique is, there's an aura. The thing is, I wasn't even able to see him in person, pero I see his aura on TV. So he's just different, man. He's a different animal, and I'm just really glad that I was able to see him back in the day, and I'm really thankful for this documentary that it was able to remind everyone who and what MJ is.
For you, Yael, what's your take on the whole GOAT debate? Over sa natin na to? Huwag natin pag-usapan.
Alam mo, it's one of those topics na magandang i-on lang eh. Kasi lalo na if you meet someone tapos wala pa kayong bonding and you just wanna talk. Iba tumuling yung topic na yun na parang, oy, ito nga pala si William. Tingin niya, greatest player of all time, si Kendall Gill. Tapos parang,
Hahaba.
Parang, paano naging si Kendall Gill? Tapos ang haba na nun, di ba? Imagine mo, obscure pa yun kaya Kendall Gill. Pero di ba, parang ang ganda itapon lang sa mga taong gusto mong ipag-away or gusto mo lang nang alam mo na magiging intensive o mag-escalate to it a bit. Parang ano yun, di ba? Parang slowly from level 3, aabot tayo sa mga level 15 kapag iba muna yung mga, teka lang, si Lebron, di magulong free throw eh. Yung mga ganun na usapan. Tapos, bakit? Umiksi ba yung mga shorts ng lahat? Nung umiksi yung shorts ni Lebron, si Jordan, pinahaba yung shorts. As simple as, pati ganun mga cultural impact. So, ang ganda lang iiwan ng debate. Pero for me, in terms of just being the greatest player of all time, parang, kung meron kasing one weakness sa game ni Michael Jordan, for me, please do not crucify me for this. But just the idea na it took him about 7 years to realize na kailangan mo ng teammates or na hindi pwedeng ikaw yung predictable offense. Parang kahit sino naman na tao na nanonood ng basketball, kahit gano'n kakagaling, mapapaisip ka ng, teka, di tayo nananalo Ba't tayo natatalo nila Tito Boston Celtics? Parang gano'n. Kasi Tito game yung Boston, 69 points siya, pero talo sila. Kasi ano yun, ifa-funnel mo lang yung defense tapos siguraduhin mo na wala nang ibang score. Parang yung field goal percentage naman ni Jordan at that time, hindi mataas.
Yeah.
So, yung parang, sige, volume shooter siya, patirahin natin, basta walang ibang gagawa. Okay na yun eh. Madaling, parang, for you to not realize that in 7 years, that's very Russell Westbrook of you, gusto ko lang sabihin yan. But, nung na-figure out kasi ngayon, parang tapos na eh. Parang, yung part na drive and dish, tapos parang nakakatawa lang na pagkasiguro ganun nakagaling na scorer. Ang tagal ma-realize na, nga pala, pagka dumadrive ako, may libreng isa. Kasi haharang sila sa akin. Tapos kung meron akong kakampi like Paxson na siguro titira ng mga 20-footer, mga 3, mga 18-footer at siguro mga 55-48% open clip. Open hindi to. Or baka sa practice, di nga nag-miss yan eh. Kasi gano'n naman usually mga pro eh. Parang makita mo sa practice, biglang, wow, gusto na nag-miss lahat. So, parang, yun, wala eh. Siya talaga yung pinakamagaling na player for me. Pero meron din namang mga weakness na, like everyone else. Like, LeBron has that weakness na he's a horrible free throw shooter. Tapos, pag nasa left siya, it's gonna be a step back, pull up, whatever. It's not, pag right na drive yan. Kasi yun yung angle ng katawan niya, naka-square na siya eh. So, lahat naman ng players may weaknesses. Si Kobe, I felt always took a lot of bad shots. Kasi kasama sa package ng pagiging alpha male, yung idea na kaya ko to eh. Kahit minsan, chok na ito na yung bantayin mo eh. Parang, libre na si Swoosh Parker doon eh. Baka naman ma-shoot na yan minsan, di ba?
Super rookie.
Kahit na ayaw mo, si Swoosh Parker yung mga kawawang mga quotes eh, sorry. Pero di ba, baka naman nakashoot siya kasi umabot naman siya ng NBA eh. Pero yun, parang lahat naman ng players may kanya-kanya kang masasabing masama. Pero kasi kay Jordan, parang yung idea na nung middle part ng career, which he also talked about sa last episode na parang feeling niya mentally, yung parang nung latter part ng career niya, yung mental game niya sobrang sharp na to the point na kahit na mas matanda na siya physically, parang mas matalino siya maglaro. Dahil nag-galvanize na yung buong team niya. Yung kahit sino, pwede mo na gawing weapon si Bill Wennington, pwede mo na gawing weapon si Steve Kerr. So parang kahit si Randy Brown, bigyan mo ng chance, makaka-steal, makaka-score. Yung idea na meron ka ng gano'n, yung hindi ka na parang na siyang one with the force eh. Sorry, Richard. Parang hindi na lang siya a guy with a lot of Jedi, parang capabilities. Parang siya na yung force at that point. Parang, wala eh. Siya, for me, the greatest player of all time. Pero let's keep that debate open kasi evolution lang naman din yan eh. One day, there's gonna be a kid who might be bigger, more athletic, who might have the work ethic, who might be in the perfect, perfect storm yan and being born in the right place, playing the right way, having the right coaches around you, the right body type, kaya work ethic, talaga laking bagay ng work ethic. Kasi mga kids today, parang feeling ko yung work ethic na hindi kasing hindi lang dati. Even,
thank you.
I mean, hindi lang to sa basketball kahit alam mo yun parang sinigawan ako ng boss ko eh, so ayoko na mag-work. Tapos parang, ikaw ba yung unang sinigawan ng boss mo sa history ng humans? Good job.
Yael wants all that smoke, ha?
Kasi diba parang minsan, nasigawan na ako ng boss ko eh. Teka lang, nasigawan. Tapos, or nasigawan na ako ng mga tao at one point eh. Tapos ang reaction ko lang doon, okay, mali naman talaga ako. Sige, babawi ako sa next play. Hindi lang sa basketball or anything.
In life.
In life. Parang pagkat mali ka, tanggapin mo lang. Pag sinigawan ka, kahit mali ka sigawan eh, parang alam mo naman na gusto lang ito manalo eh, parang ako. Ewan ko, baka lang hindi ako snowflake kasi.
Yes.
Madaling ako matrigger, pero hindi ako snowflake. Pero may sinasabi ito about snowflake society eh, parang that's because they never won anything. Diba? Parang, ang laking bagay dun eh. Nag-snowflake culture eh. Offended ka by everything.
To be honest,
It hurts your feelings.
yeah, to be honest, I agree with what you said kanina, that this debate, no matter how tiring it sounds, should be open. Admittedly, I used to believe that LeBron was the greatest player. I even wrote an article for Slam Philippines about this, and I think it goes yung reasoning ko lang naman, to be honest, with LeBron is he was so consistent all throughout his career. He was probably the most or the highly touted prospect coming into the NBA, and he exceeded those expectations. At 22 years old, he was carrying the Cavs team with Daniel Gibson as the second best player. But he was already there. He was so close in 2007 versus the Spurs. He was so close to that. From 2011 to 2018, he was there in the NBA Finals. I mean, even though you're not an NBA fan, for example, if you just open your TV, you're new to the NBA, you'd see LeBron James versus the Dallas Mavericks. You see LeBron versus the Spurs. You see LeBron versus the Warriors or Kevin Durant or Stephen Curry. And he is what? How old is LeBron? 34, 35 right
35.
now. And we're still talking about him as the what? The best player, the top two, top three player right now that we have. And looking back at it, again before the Last Dance, that was my opinion. When the Last Dance premiered, that's when I realized that there's one advantage that LeBron had that Jordan never had. It's that every year LeBron had a carrot or LeBron had something to face, something to prove. But this year, for example, nabuo yung super team. Golden State, Kevin Durant joined the Golden State Warriors. So for LeBron, that was like, okay, I have to prove myself again. Or the year before that, Golden State won 73 games. We thought the 72 record wouldn't be broken, but there he was again. I mean, LeBron always had that type of motivation, which I think Jordan never really had. Kaya siya nag-retire noong 93 and 98. It's because for Jordan, there's nothing left to prove anymore. I dominated Clyde Drexler. I got the torch from Magic Johnson. I humiliated Charles Barkley, who was a close friend of mine. And then after returning from the retirement, I dominated Gary Payton. Back-to-back ko tinalo yung Utah Jazz. There's nothing left to prove anymore. If I think Kobe was already there, kahit papaano nagbibigay na ng konting spark si Kobe during that time, Jordan might have stayed, to be honest with you. And that's my opinion. Na parang, okay, I have to prove myself again. With LeBron, he always had his teams. And kay Jordan, yun yung nawala sa kanya so far. I think let's move on na lang. I'll list down some of the famous Jordan moments. So we have, to si Zoom naglumabas ng 10 minutes siya. We'll just try to set up a new Zoom meeting. But I'll try to list down some famous Jordan moments. And I hope you guys like to power rank kung ano ba yung mga memorable for you. I have the shrug, which is what happened during the 92 finals. The Cleveland shot, the last shot, which is what we've watched episode 10. The flu game, and the mid-air switch. If meron akong nakalimutan, just add on. But on those top 5 moments, how do you rank those? I mean, let's start with you, B. What's your top 5 Jordan moment?
For me, the last shot, of course, ranks number 1. For you to, get out on top, make a steal, score 4 straight points in the span of like 60 seconds, 80 seconds, and to make that shot and leave the game on top, that's probably, the best of the best for me. Second is, I think, the shot, the one that he made over Cleveland.
Yeah.
They were down 1 point with 4 seconds left, and he made a shot and get past the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was actually an upset. No, they were seeded 5th, and everyone wrote them off. Everyone was, saying that Cleveland would actually win that series. And the mid-air switch for me, done against Magic Johnson and the Lakers. Kumbaga, although for me the Lakers were undermanned that time, pero that was the moment where Jordan really got the torch from Magic Johnson. Kumbaga, that was really the start of what Michael Jordan's going to be for the rest of his career. And siguro the fourth, the pizza game. Hindi na siya flu game pa, pizza
the food
game.
The food poisoning game na pala. Yeah.
It was the first, in fairness, ngayon ko lang nalaman na pizza yung kinain niya.
Hawaiian kaya yun.
Diba?
Baka Hawaiian.
Hawaiian.
Oy, I'm a big fan of Hawaiian pizza because of
I love Hawaiian.
Alright.
Si Lebron fan ng Hawaiian.
Why?
Hawaiian pizza
Why?
fan siya.
Kasi may pizza restaurant siya eh. So, fan siya ng
Talaga ba? Ay, yeah. Oh,
meron.
yeah.
Oh,
Oo
yeah,
nga
the Blaze
pala.
one. Yeah. I forgot
Yes.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marketing pala yun. Sige, kalimutan natin.
All right, the fifth one I forgot. What's the last choice?
The Shrug, Cleveland shot, last
Yeah, the
shot,
Shrug.
flu game switch.
The Shrug comes in last for me, but it's still iconic.
Okay, for you, Yael, what are your favorite Jordan moments, or what are your like top 5?
Okay, top 5. Meron akong isang favorite Jordan moment na hindi siya actually nangyari sa game. Nangyari siya sa press con. Ang laking bagay sa akin ito kasi with the whole GOAT talks about like LeBron and Michael Jordan, merong sinabi si LeBron na sobrang ayaw ko during a press con. Hindi pala press con, during an interview. Tapos may sinabi si Michael Jordan na sobrang nagustuhan ko to the point that for me, yung separate sa GOATs eh. Kung ano ang GOAT talaga. Yung part na nung nanalo sila ng first title nila, ang mindset niya was, finally, pwede na akong masama sa ranks nila na Bird and Magic.
Okay.
Masama. As opposed to yung sinabi ni LeBron na nung nanalo ko against the Warriors, yun yung time na ako yung naging greatest player of all time. Ngayon, papalala ko lang yung sinabi ni Tywin Lannister sa Game of Thrones. Any man who has to say, I am the king, is
There's no true king. Yeah.
Yun lang yun eh. Parang Joffrey, kailangan mong magsabihin na king ka. Kasi ako naman talaga nagpo-control nito eh. Patay mo nga ako. Ako si Tywin eh. Ako yung tatay ng pamilya na to eh. So ikaw, bata ka lang na figurehead. So anyway, yung idea lang na si LeBron, parang sabihin yun, parang pumasok sa party, tapos sinabi mo, guys, napakagwapo ko. Tapos parang, bro, hayaan mo lang isipin namin yun. Huwag mo lang speak the sentence, in a declarative sentence. Kasi magmumukha ka ng feeling eh. Dapat kami magsabi. Pero pagka kasi ikaw ng feeling, syempre, parang mahirap na maging mahirap maging humble kasi that's what it takes to get here. Parang talaga, pero si Jordan, umabot sa point na sinabi niya, masama lang ako kay Bird at Magic, okay na eh.
Mm-hmm.
Yun eh, parang ang laking bagay lang. Ngayon, yung mga plays, hindi ko kasi masyado gusto yung that move ni Jordan na yung linipat yung kamay kasi hindi mo kailangan eh. Libre na yun eh. Parang ano yun eh. Yung mga kalaro mo ng basketball sa mga pagka sa barangay, yung parang minsan, parang libre layup, i-reverse pa. Bakit? Parang pogi. Kasi mas pogi yung reverse layup ko eh.
Yung libre na, alam mo yung lilibre ka na tapos iikutin mo.
Tapos pag-lectus eh.
Okay, pag mintas, sabihin mo sakit. Sorry, bad shot.
Pag hindi pumasok, i-adjust yung knee brace tsaka yung leg compressor. Para kasi umipit, mga ganyan. It's parang hindi, you missed it.
Ahid kamay.
Ahid kamay. Pumuntas ka yan. Play ko next possession, coach. Wait lang.
Sakit.
Sakit.
Sobrang gusto ko yung ginawa niya kay Karl Malone. Kasi maliban dun sa shot na huli, inagaw muna niya yung bola eh. Kasi kahit kanino mapupunta yung bola na yun, diba? Tapos as a guard, i-risk mo na parang unang-una lamang naman tayo sa series na to. Tapos alam naman natin kay Malone pupunta. Alam din naman natin na pag nakuha ni Malone yung bola, magpapahingay ng konti sa may pewang eh. Gawain ni Malone yun eh. Parang sa baba, tapos kung hindi, either harap or size up na. So inintay lang yun. Pag nakuha ng ganun, tumingin. Kinuha niya. Tapos parang ayan. Ang problema kasi doon, parang yun yung mahirap kapag superstar ka tapos nakakalimutan mo na may kalaro ka na defensive player of the year. Maraming, mga boy-bukot sa ilalim na defense. So, makikita sa mga boy-bukot. Ako, pag alam mo ka na, alam ko magaling mag-defense, hindi ako pa easy pag kahit alam mo na malayo. Yung alam mo lang pwede kasi at 10 points na yun dumukot sa babae. So, huwag ka na masyadong patayin tayo, dribble agad, gumalaw ka agad pagkakuha mo.
Tumambay pa eh.
Tumambay pa eh. Tapos nakagaw. Tapos yung last play, yung sinabi nila na yung sabi ni Pippen, get out of the way. Sabi ni Rodman, natitiran yan. Tapos parang nakakatawa nga na yung, totoo naman eh, biling-bili ni, yung papunta ng right si Jordan, biling-bili ni Russell eh. Parang ano rin yan eh, scouting report. Meron ka namang head defense siguro dun eh. Pagka dun sa kabila, wala!
The one thing na nakukuha ko sa opinion ni Yael, he's going to be a great coach. Yung pang streetball na coach. If ever magkaroon tayo ng liga, I want Yael to be our coach. Not even close.
Medyo okay naman yata ako mag-coach. Hindi kasi defense naman yung lagi kong pupunahin eh. Hindi naman offense eh. Lahat naman ng tao naglalaro halos ang mindset. Lahat yung marunong shoot. Nanood ka ng mga footage para mga highlights eh. Pero yung defense, mahirap yun pag hindi ka committed eh.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yung idea lang na, help defense ka sa kanan eh. Ibigay mo na lang yan kaysa yung magko-commit ka fully sa isang fadeaway na kaliwa, favorite next. Ba't mo binigay sa kanya yung signature shot niya? Parang yung sinabi ni Sean Prince about guarding LeBron and guarding Kobe. Pag bantay mo si Kobe, huwag mo bibigay yung sweet spot niya. Unahan mo siya doon.
Mid-range, yeah. You don't get it.
Kailangan. Huwag mo ibibigay. So, yung parang, sobrang in-rhythm eh. Parang, alam mo, parang siya binigay ng dance step. Parang free throw na nga eh.
Free throw.
Baka nga mas maganda pa sa free throw yan kasi andun yung pati yung hagod ng shorts, pati yung alam mo na eh. Nung nangyari. Oo. Tapos alam mo na parang nung nangyari pala yung play, nung kumagat na sa fake, parang, yun yung mukha ko nun, parang, yun, yung mukha ng, ay, binigay. Sorry, yun, ang ganda ng play na yun. Tapos, ako kasi, kailangan ko lang i-point out to. As a Spurs
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Meron akong tito appreciation of basketball. Hindi ako nanonood ng slam dunk competition. Kasi para sa akin, tatawag ko sa game na yun, pagalingan ng hatid sa sponsor ng dunk contest / pahirapan ng 2 points lang naman din yan. So, it doesn't matter to me. Parang, tapos yung mga, lalo na yung mga umiiyak sa score na binigay sa kanila sa slam dunk competition, parang 9 out of 10 ako, gagawa na akong kantang.
Aaron Gordon.
Parang, alam mo, kasi kung nananalo sa aking team mo, hindi mo kailangan manalo sa slam dunk competition dahil lang ipapanalo mo this year. Alam mo yun, kung nagpagaling ka sana talaga, wala ka sa trading block eh. Alam mo yun? Pero umiiyak kasi sa isang pahirapan ng 2 points eh. Alam mo yung may mga kalaro ka naman na sobrang galing sa horse, pero pagka 5-on-5, di mo mabantay, titira ng ill-advised shots kasi trip lang nila gawin yung move.
Yung gusto sabihin sa'yo, horse lang tayo. Horse lang tayo.
Ayaw nila. Tapos yung titira ng step back, mag-isa. Wala ka namang bantay eh. Ano sino sa step backan mo? Okay, nag-trigger ako ng mga ganyan.
Oh my God.
Tito appreciation ako. Popovich fan ako eh. Yung pag makita ko na, ayaw na-dribble na, wala ka pang play, bitawan mo na yan. Bigay mo sa iba, kumat ka. Parang nakita ko na ilang beses na kahit taga-ISO sila ikaw. Pag sobrang dami na parang, chong, pasa mo na. Wala eh. Anyway.
Beautiful basketball fan ka lang talaga, Yael. Beautiful basketball.
Triangle, hindi rin naman sila masyado mag-dribble eh. Parang ang pinakamaraming dribble na nakita ko, baba ng bola ni Pippen. Tapos, ang dami ko pa na point out. Kailangan ko na-point out to. Alam mo yung series against Indiana, tsaka series against Utah? Yung series against Indiana, alam mo sino may kasalanan ng Indiana na talo? Yung point guard nila hindi kayang mag-adjust sa defender na 6'9". Parang,
Mark Jackson?
Hirap si Mark Jackson kay Scottie Pippen. Ngayon, trinay nila gawin ng Bulls yung same defensive tactic kay Stockton sa Game 1. Hindi nag-work. Yeah. Kaya talo sila sa Game 1 eh. Nung finals. Kasi si Stockton, pagka nauna na siya, hindi niya kailangan umatras para i-set yung play ulit with less than 14 seconds left. Kasi inipit ka na ni Scottie. Ang gagawin ni John Stockton noong time na yun, kapag naunahan niya yung Scottie, didiretso na siya. Hindi niya parang, set natin yung play, mag-half-court settle tayo, hindi, didiretso siya. Libre na ako eh. Hindi yung pag naiwanan mo ng konti, balik siya tayo. Tapos, si Scottie ulit. Di ba ang haba niya sa harap mo? Parang di ba naiwan mo na siya kanina? Nung bumulusok ka dahil point guard ka? Tapos, for a guy na sobrang daming assists, nasa era kasi siya na madali yatang gawin yun eh. Wow, hot take. Sorry pero...
Best era ha?
Paano ka naging point guard na walang shooting?
That was back in the 90s naman talaga. Ngayon yung mga point guards ngayon. Yung mga point guards ngayon, kailangan may shooting ka na eh. I mean, Ben Simmons might be the only guy na walang shooting ngayon eh.
Alam mo dapat ginawa ng Indiana Pacers? Kinuha dapat nila si Pedro Rencho. Tapos kinuha nila yung kamay. Mark Jackson. Tapos pinalo niya. Yan, i-shoot mo lahat ng tira mo. Yun, yung dapat ginawa. Ginawa ni Pedro Rencho yung dati kay Jobs Kuwan 2008 finals against Ateneo.
Natutulungan si Jobs Kuwan.
Pumasok yung mga free throws after. Tsaka panalo sila sa series na yun eh. So, alam mo yun, yung idea lang na if you're a point guard, you have to have shooting. And kailangan alam mo mag-adjust na rin na pag hindi sa depensa mo, na iniipit ka ng isang 6'7", 6'8" long wingspan guy. Pag nakauna ka sa kanya, huwag mong bibigay advantage by waiting for them to set up again. Kaya sabihin ako yung wife ko kasi mahaba yung arms, so ginagaya niya si Kawel. Yung wife ko kasi mahaba yung arms, so parang lagi siyang gumaganon sa akin. Parang hirap na, parang ang haba. Anyway.
Lalo na Scottie Pippen, sigurado.
Diba? Imagine, ang haba nun. Ang haba nun. Tsaka may point out din na yung boses niya para siyang nasa likod ng electric fan.
Sorry, what's that? Ano sabi ba?
Yung voice niya para daw siyang nasa harap na ng electric fan.
Si Scottie Pippen?
Parang, yeah, okay.
Scottie Pippen would have been a great voice
Very
actor.
modulated.
Darth Vader, kaya. Imagine mo siya yung boses ni Darth Vader.
Sobrang lalim.
Oh,
Saka nanginginig.
siguro kung si Scottie Pippen yung voice ng Darth Vader, hindi niya kailangan yung mask. Parang yung mukha na lang niya.
Manual na.
Manual na lang. Ay, ako na bahala. Kailangan ko ba huminga?
Ano tayo? Live sound na tayo mga boys. Labas din yung mic dyan. Hindi na kailangan ni Doc. Anyway, marami akong mga thoughts kasi while watching.
Madaming rant si Yael pala. Madami siyang rant ngayon.
Nag-notes ako eh. Nag-notes ako while watching. Para akong estudyante ulit, man. Alam mo ito Wait, sorry kung nag-iba ko yung structure ng mga
ready
Pero, ilang beses natin narinig si Michael Jordan sinabi yung, that's personal. Alam mo, we get it. That's your style. Gagawin niyang personal lahat. Kasi syempre, mas madaling maging emotionally attached kapag personal na yung iniisip mo. Kanyari, Malone MVP. For a guy na nagsabi na dapat team tayo, tapos na may nabigyan ng ibang tao ng award, tapos naasar ka. Sa game, meron ding individual element siya. Pero minsan naman, tingin ko naghahanap tayo ng pwedeng kapikunan Kasi minsan pag ganado ka, may mga personality type na pagka mas intense ka about something, mas magiging tutok ka eh. Yung parang alam mo parang may natanggalan ako ng ulo dito at ikaw yun. Parang ganon. So ang laking bagay ng motivation sa kanya at ng being personal. Ilang beses natin narinig buong series yun. Dapat may magbilang ilang beses sinabi and then became personal. With Isaiah, it was personal. With lagi. Kasi ganun maging magaling. Okay. Parang hindi ba tayo parang magiging ng Jack Stone, friendship. Hindi.
That was the 90s.
That was the 10-minute rant brought to you by Yael Yuzon of Sponge Cola.
10 minutes yun? Oh my God. Napawisan na ako, sorry.
For you, Nico, who do you think is the greatest player to have never won a ring because of Michael Jordan? Dami. Reggie Miller, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Gary Payton.
I mean, probably John Stockton and Karl Malone. I think just as a combination, just from yung mga tinalo ni MJ and parang didn't get their shot. I don't know. Patrick Ewing's up there. I mean, I think Charles Barkley though might be my favorite. Again, I try not to get into the argument of who's better than who is the best among whoever. But I think for my favorite, I think it was si Charles Barkley of the guys na parang sayang di nanalo against MJ because just because of the personality and parang the fit Chuck was so fun to watch. Sobrang unique din kasi niya as an NBA player.
Personality,
It was filthy.
Yeah, and just as a player for someone who parang wasn't necessarily as fluid, wasn't as big as what his stats might parang indicate. Pero yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed parang watching and studying yung prime Charles Barkley.
Sige, I think let's all agree, let's not go into the who's better, who's the greatest, and everything else. Medyo na siya, parang sirang plaka na siya. I think the perfect question next naman is, who should have the next documentary for sports athlete? I think sino tingin niyo yung deserving to have? Like, it doesn't need to be a basketball athlete, doesn't need to be or anything else. But who do you think should deserve this type of documentary? A 10-part series from Netflix that would show how he was growing up, how the challenges that he faced. For me, to be honest, my dad is a huge golf fan. I believe a Tiger Woods documentary would actually be good. We don't know much about Tiger Woods. He was also a very private person, much like Jordan.
I think we know too much about Tiger Woods.
No,
That's just me.
That would be like a 2-part episode, yung that knowing too much. But at a young age, diba, he was a prodigy growing up. He was getting all these accolades in golf. Even now, when he was trying to resurrect his career last year, I think in the Masters. So I think that would be an amazing documentary. I mean, for you guys, who would be the next athlete? Someone that you will watch?
Ang
Brady, perhaps?
With Michael Jordan kasi nag-Avengers Endgame na tayo eh. Parang ganun. Parang
Hirap.
ang hirap. Kung pwede, mag-comedy na lang. Tapos parang
10-part series of Dennis Rodman. Well, just like the Las Vegas tour, going to the
I don't think
WCW.
it's gonna be as interesting, partner.
May movie na kasi siya eh. May movie siya eh.
Yeah.
Tsaka nga pala, may mga NBA players rin na who also did like acting work, like Cedric Ceballos appeared in a Jimi Hendrix documentary. Ay, movie pala. So, parang, wala, ang random lang. Si Cedric Ceballos. Okay yun.
Cedric Ceballos, 16-part documentary on Netflix.
Cedric Ceballos,
Oh God,
his
no.
Hollywood career. Ang ganda. Pero yun nga eh, parang paano kung tungkol kila Harold Nine, lahat ng mga baby Jordans na hindi na medyo nag-play out. Pero parang negative thing. Or the injured ones who could have been like Brandon Roy, Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, Greg Oden.
That would be a sad documentary. Diba?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Just for pure entertainment alone, I think Shaq would be parang candidate number one. Kasi I think the thing about the Jordan documentary kaya siya masaya panoorin is for one episode, lilibangin ka eh. Lalayo ka from basketball. May isang episode baseball. May isang episode shooting siya ng pelikula.
Gambling.
May isang episode, the gambling part. May isang episodes about his shoe deal with Nike and things like that. I think if you want to find someone who had a successful career, multiple phases of his career, is a household name that people will watch, and at the same time, took breaks to do movies or to parang become an endorser. And there's a lot of things na may controversy siya with with the Kobe rivalry, may redemption arc with winning in Miami.
Yeah.
And then there's title chasing years, there's the wait. Si Shaq's one of like the best, I think he's like parang one of the best people who's become a superstar and has handled their money very well. So that's parang I think an interesting parang side to him also. Di ba parang 25 na Burger King ata si Shaq. Parang ganun. So,
5 guys na 5 guys.
Or 5 guys. Or whichever is his burger preference. But yeah, I think parang if siguro not 10-part, but like I'd watch a 2-hour Shaq documentary easy.
Yeah. Same. Oo nga. Kailangan kasi strong personality eh. Hindi pwedeng parang who's gonna watch it? I was first fan ako pero Tim Duncan documentary parang that's a lot of half smiles.
Would you guys enjoy a Floyd Mayweather documentary, 10-part? Just him showing his money. I mean, aside from the money, but of course trying to start his career. I mean, as a young kid, Olympian, very successful.
I'm sure the athletic part of it is going to be interesting. Pero I don't know, baka like parang personal bias ko lang, parang siguro kung parang walang bagong episode ng Survivor ganun, tapos walang bago sa Netflix. I mean, sige, play ko yan habang nagtutupi ako ng labada. Ganun. Pero yung cancel mo buong araw mo, tas parang guys, medyo silent muna ng phone, panoorin ko lang. yung Jordan kasi tinawid ka nung documentary and nung career ni Jordan from Magic and Larry, tapos hinatid ka ng Dream Team, tapos hinatid ka hanggang sa guys na parang medyo kahit papano nakita mo na talaga eh. Like parang that you got familiar with new generation of guys, diba? Whether it was Barkley or parang sino Malone and things like that. So like parang if you do Shaq, he starts out MJ kalaban, and then meron yung era nila ni Kobe, tapos abutan niya si LeBron, kampi niya si Steve Nash. Diba? Kalaban niya sila KG, sina Duncan. So parang medyo solid din kasi yung longevity din parang sobrang crucial eh.
For you, do you think okay ka na dito sa Jordan documentary or we're still looking forward to, let's say, the upcoming Kobe documentary, which I hope na ma-release anytime soon, or any other athletes that you have in mind?
I'm actually looking forward to the Kobe Bryant documentary. Kumbaga, if there's a person that that represents Michael Jordan well, it's Kobe Bryant. His work ethics, kumbaga, he doesn't have the same aura, pero he has a different aura eh. Kumbaga, parang bangis,
Yeah.
when he makes that shot, yung mad face niya na parang, wala akong nakitang ganung player other than Michael Jordan. It's just him and it's just Kobe and Michael for me eh. When it comes to, the mentality that they have, the killer mentality that they have. It's just him. I can't really see that from other players right now. I don't see that in Curry's DNA. I don't see that in LeBron's DNA. And hi, Karel.
Sige. Gusto niya demonstrate yung Kawhi Leonard defense niya.
Oo nga,
Yes, please.
nakatunga, mahaba talaga eh.
Oh, haba.
Grabe
Mas
Grabe
mababa
wingspan.
sa eh.
7 foot
Grabe,
wingspan ba yan?
Grabe wingspan.
Pag binabantayan ko siya, kailangan ko siya bigyan ng shoulder ng konti para mag-space up. Totoo yun. Kasi physical siya mag-defense eh. Hindi ko mahaba eh. Bigyan mo ng konting ganun.
You are something, man. Anyway, Kobe talaga, for me, really looking forward to that. And I think it would be maybe not as epic, but it's something different. It's a different flavor for basketball fans. And of course, after his tragic loss, though, it would be, the demand for it would really be high.
Yeah.
And talagang kumbaga, a lot of kids really watched. I mean, for me, Kobe has the most fans in the NBA. In his era, he has the most fans, bar none. Yeah, he's the most famous NBA player there is. I was a KG fan. Nico knows that. I actually cried when when the Lakers beat the Celtics in 2010. I don't know, even my wife, my girlfriend back then saw me crying. It was so stupid. But I really respect Kobe, and I'm really looking forward to that documentary as much as I did enjoy The Last Dance.
Alright, nag-notes kasi ako tapos na-miss ko lang. Saan ka naiyak nung natalo yung Celtics?
2010.
When the Celtics lost to the Lakers.
Yes.
Dahil Celtics fan ka.
Celtics fan ako eh. KG fan ako.
Okay.
It's good to know that Yael continues to keep notes.
You're listening. You're listening. Good job.
Kasi ang sarap na ganito usapan kasi normally kami lang wait ko sa isang shit show eh. So, alam mo, this is a welcome break to be talking ball. I get excited. Alam mo, Nico to. This is like our second time to do this or third time to do this. So,
glad to be part of it.
As you can see, Yael is very excited for this today.
Yeah, he really is. I'm surprised with the notes. I'm surprised that he's taking notes while we're discussing everything. But yeah. But I think unanimously we all agree it has been an amazing series. Unfortunately, tapos na. There's no part 2. There's no anything else. I'm not sure if they're going to go into the Washington tenure ni Michael Jordan, but that's about it. Let's go to the mailbag portion. So we were able to ask a couple of our Facebook members for questions for you guys, for Nikko Ramos and for Yael Yuzon. So let's start with Nico. This comes from Mika Abansha. So Mike Breen has the bang, while Boom Gonzalez owns the gets it to go line. Where did you came up with the cash money? Or how did you came up with the cash money line?
I don't know.
Instinct? Your instinct lang ba?
Kasi for me, it's really kung ano yung just what comes natural to you. What's parang si Nico Halili and I, we kind of like parang had this conversation when I was much younger as a sportscaster.
Yeah.
Parang I was so very foolish about it. I kind of wanted to make that a goal na dapat may catchphrase ako. Yeah, and like parang if you attack it that way, trying to, kumbaga, parang yung sinabi ni El kanina, if pumasok ka sa party tapos sinabi mong pogi ka, even if pogi ka, nababawasan yung pagka-pogi mo. Kasi parang, hindi, parang it has to come naturally. So, it always seemed forced, and like parang with sportscasting, that's what it is, and I think that's what takes parang guys a lot of time to figure out is just how to be smooth with it, how to kind of like parang like parang let the game parang, kasi my interpretation has always been this: if magaling yung sportscaster, di mo siya mapapansin. Your goal has to be si Bob Costas does a great job setting up the last shot ni Michael Jordan, di ba? Like parang so-and-so seconds away from Game 7 or championship number 6. Jordan, open. And then Michael hits the shot. But he does a good job there. But if you're watching the entire game, di mo naman papansin si Bob Costas. Diba? Because he's doing a good job just driving the ship. Michael Jordan yun eh.
Sila yung bida dapat.
And ako, even if I'll never ever call a Michael Jordan game, even if it's a UAAP game between the 7th place team and the 8th place team, mas magaling pa rin sa akin mag-basketball yung mga yun eh. yung pinaka-bangko, say for example, was like the 8th place team last year, UE. Yeah. Yung pinaka-bangko sa UE, tatalunin ako ng 12-0 eh. So I think for sportscasters, if you're attempting to be a bigger star of a basketball game, na yung bangko ay mas magaling sa'yo, it really has parang 0 point. So anyway, I guess my point is I eventually figured out that, you know, you just have to just say what comes natural to you, what's a product of your experience and things like that. And don't try to force it. Huwag kang magpauso. Yun. Huwag mo i-try magpauso. Sponge Cola doesn't come out the first time they play a song and say, you guys are this song is going to be your next favorite song. This is going to be a hit.
It has to just be.
Yeah, you play a song for the first time, di ba? Like parang, di ba? Like parang may ate ako na nag-aral sa Miriam before na may cassette tape na may recording. Tapos sabi niya, pakinggan mo to, may banda sa Ateneo na parang magaling. And I was like, how'd you get this tape? And they were like, kasi yung boys na yun, binigay ito dun sa kabarkada ko kasi nanliligaw. So, bandmate ni Yael. It wasn't Yael. Bandmate ni Yael, binigay yung tape na yun dun sa friend ng ate ko. And I heard Jeepney for the first time in my lola's place in a recorded cassette tape. And I thought to myself, sobrang lupit nito, Sponge Cola. And I was a Sponge Cola fan ever since. Found out later on, madaming girls nakakuha nung cassette tapes na yun. So, in mass production, that was the Sponge Cola move. I wrote this song for you. I wrote this song for you.
You thought it was a limited edition. Pero general release pala siya.
Kilig na kilig yung ate ko. Kilig na kilig yung ate ko. Yung pala, kalahati nung batch niya may copy nun. And then eventually, like parang, I just kind of like parang landed on, una, it was just cash, just saying cash, and then cash money. And people think na parang it's like parang just this thing or whatever. To be honest, parang yung inspiration on Lil Wayne. Kasi yung label ni Lil Wayne, Young Money, Cash Money, baby. So parang, I think I heard it once. I didn't even really think about it, and then I said it, and then like parang it seems natural to me, and you know, like parang that's how I ended up with it, I guess.
Okay. So,
nice.
For Yael naman, you have a question for you. This is from Sean Pineda. When you guys were forming the Sponge Cola band, what was your major roadblock that you had to face or you encountered early on?
All the Miriam girls who found out that they got a tape of Jeepney and said,
oh my God.
Yung buong banda niyo binigay sa amin to.
So you know what? As a guy kasi na nagsusports, parang yung mga roadblock na nun, parang mindset ko rin ever since. Challenges lang na masarap paglaruan. Alam mo, parang, hindi ako, ewan ko, I've always been a sports guy. You kind of, once you're a sports guy, pagka may challenges out there, parang ka lang binigyan ng dumbbells, buhatin mo 15 times, tapos na. Mas parang ganun. So, pero siguro, a challenge, which ito na lang, parang complicated yung sagot ko. A challenge na hindi ko na-realize before was the idea na a lot of labels wanted to sign us because of a cover.
Yeah.
And at that point, our manager said no without, na hindi ko naiintindihan why. Kasi dati, ang alam ko lang, pag kami record label na tumawag sa'yo, mag-yes ka. So wala akong alam at all. I was a kid. I was 19. Tapos parang sabi ng manager ko at that point sa akin, sa manager, ako yung kausap niya, ako yung spokesperson ng band, pero kami, kausap niya kami. Sabi niya, ayoko mag-sign kasi ayoko i-record ninyo yung cover ninyo. Kasi once you do that, people are not gonna listen to originals. And your originals are way better than the cover.
Yeah.
So, ako hindi ko maintindihan yun. Mga 3 album na nga, hindi ko pa naiintindihan yun. I was like, hindi ko maintindihan yung idea na parang, bakit? How is it bad? Tapos, ngayon na matanda na ako, na-realize ko na, when you release a cover, people are gonna expect another cover. When you do an original song, we'll be like, hey, nice, but free, we'll put that on the fridge, but where's the cover? because we just wanted to sing someone else's songs until you become 30 years old one day after a 10-year career without any songs because you're singing covers. So you have no catalog as an artist. So parang that was the challenge that I didn't understand. Buti lang we had a manager back then who understood it and believed in us enough to tell us not to say yes to that record deal and do the indie thing and just release your own songs and never play covers. So ngayon, hindi na kami nag-covers after that kasi na-realize namin na parang hindi pala maganda yung mag-cover. Parang you're basically trying to win an audience singing someone else's song. So parang, parang you're not supposed to do that. So yun, advice ko rin sa mga young musicians out there. Guys, there's the internet, you can use it. Just record your own songs, write your own songs. Because you can introduce them to your throat, which is good, your talent, your mouth, your tongue. Pero you want to show them your heart and your mind and your soul. So write your own music and do it. Yeah. So yeah, yung biggest challenge, yung sagot ng challenge nila.
All right, next question from Jefferson Quinto. This is for Nico. Nico, we're seeing a lot of shoe boxes behind you. What's the most valuable sneaker you have right now?
It's not with me right now, so it's causing parang a little bit of anxiety. Pero I
Naka-lockdown din ba?
As office at Titan. So I have an autographed pair of Kobe's.
My God.
Sa office namin sa Titan. So obviously with the quarantine, can't go into the office. Si Yael is on the way.
Saan nga yung office ulit? Saan nga ulit yung office? Sa 4th, di ba?
BGC.
32nd floor, gano'n.
But yeah, so that's where I would probably say it's that. I mean, whether it's actual resale value, siguro, but sentimental value for sure.
You got it from one of his Nike Philippine tours ba? I mean, the autographed sneakers.
Yeah, so it was when it was his last visit here. That was I think a month after he played his last game. So it was the immediate off season after the retirement. So that's when I got to meet him. So he signed the shoe.
I mean, random question lang, Nico. How was Kobe? I mean, as a celebrity or as an athlete visiting the country, I think he has been in the Philippines for 4, 5, even 6 times. And you were fortunate enough to be able to host some of the events with him. I mean, how was Kobe Bryant? I'm a huge Kobe fan. Kaya I'm trying to take this opportunity to really ask you about this.
I'm just charisma parang through the roof. As I guess like parang you would imagine. Just he's the type of guy na if you're in a room with him, paglabas mo ng room, parang feeling mo talaga buong buhay mo. Well, especially now, obviously the gravity of it takes on so much more meaning because he tragically passed. But even before that, if you were in a room with him, if kunwari nag-high five kayo, if you guys talk for like parang 20-30 seconds, kukwento mo talaga sa mga anak mo na nagka-moment kayo. Like he's one of those guys na if ikaw yung kausap niya, he's looking into your eyes. He's listening. He's not, you know, parang they always say the difference is between a person who's listening or someone who's just waiting for their turn to speak. So, you know, he's
Nice.
someone who he's someone who listens. He's someone who makes you feel like his only focus is on you. If you're talking for 2 hours, if you're talking for 20 seconds, you know, I remember one of the security guys from the agency of bouncers who were in charge of his store, you know, came up to him and just told him, you know, Kobe, we're gonna go through that door and you're gonna turn right.
Yeah.
And then parang nung yun lang. So parang syempre, you're this head of this bouncer agency, come up to him, it's Kobe Bryant, but you have a job to do. He's super professional. This guy says, Kobe, we're gonna go through that door and you're gonna turn right. And then si Kobe parang grabbed him by the shoulders, looked at him, and then repeated, through that door, turn right. Okay. And then I was parang, you know, it's kind of like little moments like that. That's why when he passed, I feel like everyone and their mother parang had a Kobe story. I think that's really parang his gift that he has, and the gift that he gives other people is parang he's super present in conversations na galing talaga. You know, and you know, I think that's how he is of course, parang if you're parang a teammate or worse, an opponent, you probably won't say that he's that way on court. But like parang off court, especially parang I guess in the latter stages of the career, parang charisma through the roof.
Yeah. I mean,
Was he a nice guy?
Yeah.
Talaga? Was he a nice guy in person? Was he, all business, or was he really friendly? Like a lot of people were saying that he was just really, down to earth.
Yeah, that's especially parang that last tour, because by then he had retired. He was enjoying parang, and I guess we saw, parang he's one of the very few superstars who was really at peace with retirement, and was just happy to start his the second part of his life. He was, from all of the encounters that I saw of him on that tour, whether it was backstage or actual event or stuff like that, just super nice, incredibly cordial, shakes people's hands.
Yeah.
Na ngayon parang medyo nakaka-alarm, no, to think na parang you would shake strangers' hands in time of corona.
Not today.
Magsasalita lang yan.
But yeah, no, would shake people's hands, would ask them their names, remember people's names, things like that. Just parang being incredibly outgoing, which is what really sets him to be different. I've been lucky enough to meet a few parang NBA players, like say for example si KD, so Kevin Durant, someone who from my interactions with him is a very nice guy also, very polite, very conversational, but the thing with him is he's not outgoing. Mahiyain siyang tao just naturally. So syempre sa Pilipino, we're so used to everyone being friendly and outgoing and accommodating. That's our culture. So anyone who's not that sometimes can be perceived as, masungit, di ba? Parang, or worse, di ba? Mayabang. But see Kobe is completely different, because you wouldn't think that of him, because especially if you're in the working team of the tour, of the event, he's incredibly outgoing with his time.
4 months into this, I still can't believe that wala na si Kobe Bryant. So, thanks for sharing those stories, Nico. This next question for Yael, it's actually a 2-part question. This comes from Alexis. What would you consider what would you consider the Mount Rushmore of songs? Or what are yung top 4 songs mo of all time? And second question, to medyo Space Jam to eh. If you could pick an NBA player's skills and talents, which player would you choose? Aside from Jordan, eh?
Okay, yeah. Got it.
ED.
Top 4 ng songs muna. Rushmore.
Yeah.
Ang hirap nun kasi as a person na mahilig sa music at nabubuhay sa music, parang iba-iba yung mood mo eh. Parang may mga times na parang masarap makinig ng Bohemian Rhapsody when you're driving, pero pag nasa elevator ka, parang masikip. Para sa kantang to, mahirap gumanon. So, ang kailangan kong ipasok dyan, number 1 greatest song of all time would have to be Happy Birthday. Because people who are celebrating their birthdays will want to hear it. It will trigger memories of your childhood. It will remind you it's your birthday. It's the greatest song ever. Tapos, ang konti pa ng words. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. 4 words! Pero yung impact niya sa'yo, diba parang, okay to birthday ko.
Any melody, any version of it, for you, it's the best song.
Feeling ko yung original pa rin na basic. Kasi pagka ginugulo mo pa yung basic, diba, parang ano yan eh.
By the way, di mo pwede kantahin Happy Birthday on TV, ah.
Bawal. Ay, teka lang, nag-expire na yata. Okay na yata na yun.
Talaga?
I didn't know that. Really?
Yung babayaran mo, something like, parang if you sing that, Happy Birthday to you, the person will get like 250,000 pesos. The person na nagsulat ng song.
What?
Kaya guys, ito when you guys...
Kaya pag ganun yung teleserye, tapos merong may birthday, wala kumakanta.
Ganun lang. Hey, birthday mo ngayon.
Ganun lang.
Guys, pag nasa TV kayo, bigla lang kayong kumanta randomly ng huwag kang bibitiw. Bigla, tapos mag-enjoy lang ako sa inyo. Kasi Ganun din halos yun. Hindi nga lang 200 plus.
Okay.
Pero, but yeah, may rights kasi. So yung rights na yun, cha-ching, cha-ching. So every time
Pero I didn't know that the
song,
Happy Birthday song had rights. I thought it was just a generic song, copyright free, that you could use
Yeah.
as an intro for
Like
podcast.
like a free song, right? Diba?
Oh, di ba?
A lot
Happy
of free
birthday.
songs are
4
available.
words nga lang eh. Sabi nga ni Yael, 4 words lang.
ang may-ari ng rights nun si Scottie Pippen eh. Kaya nagawin yun. Taka lang. Baka fake news yun, tapos makulong ako. Hindi.
Oh, wala.
Iba yung fake news sa joke, okay, please. Okay. Clarify ko lang. Takot na ako kasi baka makulong ako eh, diba? Anyway, sorry.
Oh, shit.
Kailangan mo sa tapos siguro yung sasama ko yung Bitiw by Smachola.
I love it. The plugging is perfect.
O, diba? Kasi pag kinanta niyo yun, magkikita ako. Okay. Tapos, 3 and 4, siguro yung sasama ko yung Huling El Bimbo kasi hindi naman ako mahilig masyado sa mga foreign songs eh. So, Happy Birthday yung favorite foreign song of all time. Pero, feeling ko yung Huling El Bimbo captures so much ng Philippine society, of who we are, of how we are, and it's parang as an OPM song that we can truly be proud of on so many levels. It's an epic song. It's a narrative. Parang ang hirap kaya gumawa ng kanta na narrative, pero nagawa siya with a parang all-encompassing na chorus na sobrang kind of just unifies everything. Ang hirap gumawa ng narrative, guys, pero ang ganda-ganda lang. So, Huling El Bimbo, Video by Spancola, Happy Birthday to You. Tsaka siguro Jingle Bells. Kasi pag Christmas, kahit na hindi ka Catholic, whatever religion, pag alam mo naman na Christmas siguro, merong Christmas break, either may break as office or merong regalo.
I agree.
So, Jingle Bells, Happy Birthday to You.
May copyright issue din ba sa Jingle Bells? Same with Happy Birthday?
I
Meron din ba?
wouldn't be surprised.
Kaya baka pag teleserye, Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Hindi ko pa. Merry Christmas to you! Kasi bayad pa rin yung melody ng Happy Birthday to you.
Oh, God.
Yeah, for you.
Tapos, skills ng basketball player. Okay.
Here we go.
Kailangan ba current? Hindi natin current kasi lahat naman tayo Michael Jordan.
No, any.
Any of all time?
Yeah.
Any?
Any. Basta wag lang si Jordan. Medyo...
Oh, sige, okay. Walang Jordan.
Yeah.
Dribbling, Clyde Drexler. Yun yung paborito niya.
Alam mo, guys, alam niyo, si Nikko Ramos, sinihira si Clyde Drexler sa akin forever.
Hindi ko siya sinihira. May pinoint out lang ako sa'yo.
Kasi alam mo, yung sinabi kasi ni Nikko Ramos sa akin, wala pa siyang nakita picture daw ni Clyde Drexler na nag-dribble na hindi nakatingin sa bola. Ngayon, nakikita ko lang, nanood ako ng mga greatest games. Fast break, mag-isa siya, nakatingin pa rin siya sa bola. Parang, Chong, bilang mo na dapat yan eh. 4 yan sa strides mo, tapos likab na. Yun na yun eh. 4 na dribble ang tunga na.
Parang basketball camp student lang eh, no? Parang, okay, coach, ito ba?
Dapat sa kanya may Milo Best siya, nilagyan siya ng gano'n. Yung sa Milo Best, nakakailan yun eh, may ganyan nga, tapos dribble na. Tapos parang, wow. Nakakailan to, ayaw ko naman kahit wala yan. Pero ngayon, nakikilang na ako. Pero, si Clyde Drexler kasi, so wala yung...
Nakatingin nga siya sa bola, no? Habang
Di ba?
Nakatingin nga siya. Nakatingin nga siya.
Si Clyde mag-isa. Gumagano'n talaga siya. Ako hindi ko magigarawa yun eh. Hindi ako lahat eh.
Now, eto,
Go ahead,
sasabihin ko with all due respect, kasi ako din yung taong sinabi kanina na yung pinakabangko sa pinakabanong UAAP team, kaya akong talunin 12-0. So, hindi ko sasabihin dito na bano mag-dribble si Clyde Drexler because hindi naman, I am not in a position to say
Unorthodox lang, probably.
Hindi. Totoo to, pag nagdi-dribble siya, tinitignan niya yung kamay niya at yung bola. Now, hindi ko sinasabing ginagawa niya yon dahil hindi niya kayang mag-dribble hindi nakatingin.
Yeah.
Baka naman...
Habitual, di ba?
Baka naman habit lang na form. Malamang siguro, kaya niya mag-dribble ng hindi nakatingin doon sa kamay. Pero,
check natin yung assist per game niya, ha?
Parang ano lang yan, parang ano lang yan.
Hindi assist naman, protect naman. Mga 4 siguro, 4.2.
Check natin yung ano niya. Kasi kung mababa, talagang wala siyang court vision. Parang ganun ba sinasabi mo, Nico?
Yung sinasabi ko,
dahil sa bad habit, wala siya.
Ako, ano lang, habit lang. Kasi nakapag-dream team naman siya, Hall of Famer naman siya. So, sino ba naman ako para sabihin, para turuan siya mag-basketball?
May sing-sing pa siya.
Oo, nag-champion siya. So, yung sa akin, parang ano lang yan, parang yung pag-ganon lang ni Dirk yan sa free throw. Di ba?
It's
Every time
actually
mag-years,
respectable.
Gagaya.
Respectable 5.6. 5.6
Oh,
per game. His
5.6
whole
also
career.
Not really
It's
that bad.
Yeah, it's actually high for a shooting guard.
Actually, baka naman sinasadya niya para malito yung defender.
Baka sinasadya niya para
Baka
pag-usapan
naman.
siya 20 years from now na, uy, si Clyde Drexler.
Sobrang next level yung mind games ni Clyde Drexler na parang, tignan mo, bano ako mag-dribble. Tapos pag susundot ka, blow by siya, tapos lilipad. Tapos sobrang stick to his script siya na kahit by himself, kahit na breakaway na, gagawin pa rin niya. Parang to live the life. Parang The Prestige lang yan. Parang The Prestige. Kailangan mo talaga putulin yung isang daliri mo.
So, we need a 10-part Clyde Drexler series ASAP.
All due respect, Clyde. Nothing but love, Clyde Drexler.
So, Yael, okay ka na kay Clyde? You're sticking with Clyde?
No! Isasama ko lagi ito, conditioning and dietary expertise ni LeBron James. Kasi he's 30, he's younger than me by a year. So he's 36.
No, 35, I think.
35? Mas Kasi December birthday niya eh. Pero December 30 yung birthday niya eh. So parang nasa gitna siya ng taon eh. Pero parang 36 yun eh. Pero okay, so 35-ish. Tapos yung pagka daw Taco Tuesdays, yung kinakain daw niya na taco special. So parang vegetable yung sa kanya. Hindi party time tacos yun. Kasi siguro sarap pa rin nun kasi nasa California sila eh. Parang,
Pero Yael, that's $1 million, that's $1 million a year, $1 million a year yung ginagastos niya sa katawan niya.
Pero kita mo naman, parang kaysa naman yung kaibigan mo na post ng gym tapos yung katawan parang yan ka rin last year. Diba?
Ano ba yung mean?
Parang puro ka kasi Instagram eh. Lebron, sulit naman. Tsaka yung katawan niya ngayon, nakita yung katawan niya ngayon.
Yeah.
Okay pa rin.
Solid.
Tingin ko yung commitment niya to dieting. Kasi ako, ito baka ito na naman yung mga hot take na may ma-offend. Pero kaya ako hindi bilib kay James Harden. Kasi kung magaling ka talaga, at ganyan yung body type, at ganyan yung, kung hindi ka ganun ka-committed siguro, kasi lumalaki siya eh.
Ang laki niya actually.
Diba? Parang kung makita mo yung mga players ngayon kung paano kumain ng salmon, tsaka ng good carbs.
Chicken breast.
Diba? Chicken breast, tapos workout, parang kung lumalaki ka pa sa lahat ng ginalaro mo, ikaw na ngayon may bola, buong laro. Alam mo yun? Tapos pag pinanpal ka ni Ginobili, check out ka, alam mo yun, parang yung commitment eh, parang sinasabing Mark ni Jordan kay Pepe na huwag ka makipagmusamahan si Markley kasi hindi siya committed. Kasama ang conditioning dun eh. Kasi kung lumalaki siya ng ganun, baka hindi siya ganun ka-committed, baka gusto na niya maglaro tapos magkamas-angas pero hindi naman niya sinusunod yung mga kailangan gawin ng mga tipong LeBron James. I know this might get some hate, but I'm just saying when you're paid like $25-30 million to play, baka naman gusto mong maging mas healthy living, gusto mong maging mas well-conditioned athlete. Kasi kahit sabihin pa ni Harden na 11% body fat lang ako. Pero ba't compare mo kay LeBron James? Yung katawan ni LeBron. That's like that. I mean, mama eh.
Yung ugat eh, no? Isang malaking ugat.
Ugat eh. Kita mo yung got eh. Hindi nga got eh. It's just cut. At hindi vanity cuts, yung core. Yung pati yung mga workout niya, parang design siya, parang maglaro ng 82 games, kahit na malamang papahinga siya sa ibang mga games, okay naman sa akin. Wala problema sa load management, first fan ako eh. So, pero yung idea lang yung commitment to body, LeBron James, at that age, mas condition pa rin sa mga bata na nag-cheeseburger eh. Parang, how's he do it? He's 35. I mean, granted, genetics, pero
freak of nature.
Pero commitment din eh. So, at saka mas naman sila Kobe eh. Yung mga diet nila while they were playing. Sila Chauncey Billups, sila Blake Griffin. Parang salmon eh. Tsaka chicken breast eh. Yung hindi naman sila laging steak and potatoes. Michael Jordan does steak and potatoes. Pero yun, so yung commitment tsaka yung conditioning ni LeBron. Tapos hindi dribbling ni Drexler. Pero isasama ko niya yung
Court vision.
ano isasama ko? Ugali, tsaka yung ugali na marami nang magaling, maraming pwede maging magaling eh. Pero yung commitment to winning to your team, bitin down ka. Yung idea na hindi ako aalis.
But for example, you can only pick one. You can only pick one lang. One player lang.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan ka.
Ay, one player na, what do you mean? One player
Yeah,
or...
one player that you would get the skills from. Parang Space Jam talaga, kumbaga. Ay,
Skills, one player.
yeah.
Teka, ano height ko? Kasi kung Tim Duncan yung skills is 5'4", ako wala yung silver.
Hindi, magiging 6'11 ka din.
Oh, magiging same height ka kung sino pipiliin mo. Any player in history.
Sige. Humihirap na ng konti kasi sino yung kakampi ko? Kasi kung yung kakampi ko, ay let's say,
wala. Papasok ka pa lang sa draft.
Kasi yung kakampi ko, depende rin, kakampi ko ka na ng point. Eh di syempre, kung tayo kumuha ng Tim Duncan, kumuha lagi tayo ng multiple position guarding wing, mga Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Scottie Pippen. Pero si Scottie Pippen,
ito yung sitwasyon na bumaba si Lord, tapos bibigyan ka ng regalo, Yael. Tapos, ang dami mong tanong, umakyat ulit si Lord. Sabi niya, alam mo,
simple lang ito eh.
Gagawin na kitang kahit sinong basketball player na gusto mo eh. Tinanong mo pa teammate mo, di bali na lang.
What? No, please, no!
Kumbaga si Lord, oh my God siya. Dami question. Balik ako bukas.
Teka lang. Okay, sige, teka lang. Final, isa lang pala, kala ko kukumbine ako ng apat.
Wala.
Isa lang.
Walter, grabe yung listahan mo, Yael. Grabe talaga.
Current pa rin.
Last flame yan.
Guys, kaya ako ginagawa ito kasi alam ni Nikko Ramos ko, magulo ko mag-isip, so kailangan ko maging organized. So,
okay.
Ito kailangan. Isa lang talaga. Ang hirap, pwede ba current na lang para madali?
Yeah, go ahead.
Teka lang, pwede ba yung hindi siya na-injure? Tapos funny pa rin siya. Kasi kung gano'n, Kawhi Leonard na hindi na-injure, tapos nakakatawa. Alam mo yun, personality ko, pero Kawhi Leonard, pero hindi na-injure.
We could take it as an answer. Sige, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay na tayo dyan.
I mean, everyone would take a healthy Kawhi Leonard. Everyone.
Yeah. Yung walang degenerative leg problem.
And once na sinabi mo yun, Yael, God is like, finally. Okay na siya.
Tagal nun. Tagal na siya. Busy nga naman siya. Marami pa siya. Kasi, he works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. Last question na to. This is from Miguel Cabana. This is for the both of you. Let's start with Nikko muna. So, what's the best advice that you'd give for someone who wants to pursue a career in sports marketing, sports media, sports casting, anything else? Best simple advice.
Enjoy mo yung dapat mahal mo yung, I mean, whatever sport it is that you want to like parang get into or work around or stuff like that. But dapat mahal mo yung sport. That like if it's basketball, so like say for example basketball. So basketball's been very, very kind to me in my life. Although I wish I was playing basketball to make a living, but it wasn't kind to me in that way. But ako like parang I'd like to think na mahal ko yung basketball. Di ko naman ever parang ginawang primary goal yung if you want to cover sports for a living, if you want to write about sports for a living, hindi ko naman ginawang goal na dapat sumikat ako. Dapat mas prominent ako kaysa dito sa tao na to or whatever. Yeah. My North Star, at least eventually when I matured, my North Star has always been, is this good for the game? Am I representing the game well? Like parang, is this, like parang even a statement, no? Like parang there's some responsibility, especially on us, whether you're whatever capacity of sports media you belong to, if you cover, you talk about sports, there's a responsibility by you na yung sasabihin mo, dapat it's something that you can tell someone to their face. I think that's what keeps the game healthy. I think that's what's good for the game. Like you can have arguments, you can have discussions, you can have disagreements or whatever. But I try to make it a point na if I'm going to say something about insert player X here, whether it's a Kiefer Ravena or yung pinakabangko sa UE Red Warriors.
Red Warriors?
Sino ba yun?
Kasi sila yung 8th. Hindi ko alam Hindi ko alam kung sino yun. Pero sila kasi yung 8th place team last year sa UE.
We need to have him as a guest soon.
Let's not blow this out of proportion, guys.
So just from a scope, no. So like parang say someone like Kiefer, who's one of the best players we have in the Philippines right now, to someone who's just starting out their career as a bench player on a not so good team on the college level. I want to be able to make sure na never, ever mangyayari sa akin yung situation na lalapitan ako ng player na to, tapos sasabihin niya sa akin, may nabasa ko yung sinulat mo tungkol sa akin Oy, narinig ko yung podcast mo ito yung sinabi mo tungkol sa akin Tapos malalagay ako sa sitwasyon na parang, shit, sorry, pasensya na. Because if you have to apologize for it to their face, ibig sabihin, may mali dun sa...
You did something wrong.
Yeah, may mali dun sa sinabi mo. Now, you can criticize players naman. That's fine. But there's a way to do it in in a respectful manner.
Yeah.
If it's well-researched.
May question ako.
Yes.
Dapat ako mag-sorry kay James Harden ngayon? Or okay lang?
Okay lang, di naman... Hindi, si Clyde Drexler na-prove naman natin na parang minamind trick niya tayo. Minamind trick niya tayo
Pero si Harden kasi nakalaro mo ng one-on-one Tapos baka sabihin niya parang, this guy talking to this guy. I'm like, what's with this guy?
Okay lang. Sa mga haters ni James Harden, I think you are number 200,000 on the list. So, it'll take a while before he...
Tsaka nag-present naman ako ng parang comparison ng LeBron at 35.
Yeah, and
you had a valid argument.
And again, to me, if it's something that you can say to his face, then by all means.
Hindi ko yata kaya kasi ayoko nagsasabi ng mean things kaya mo sabihin yung nicely. Sabihin ko parang, hey, James, I know you might like food, but you might want to eat less and work more. Parang ganon. May offensive.
Oh, no.
No, what I guess what I'm trying to drive at is there's a way to cover the game. There's a way to have a voice in the game that isn't exactly super reliant on a hot take just for the sake of a hot take. I think that's kind of like parang what we see sometimes. But I think true fans of the game, through people who appreciate the game, again, if it's good for the game, if you really love the game, you'll watch players even if you don't particularly like those players. You'll appreciate things about players even if you don't particularly like their team or their players, diba? Like, kasi mahal mo yung basketball and I think na parang if you really want to have like parang a reputable long career in sports, that's what it requires. It can't just be about Michael Jordan all the time kasi mahal mo si MJ.
Yeah.
Diba? Like parang you have to watch the games na, you know what, to be honest, parang walo yung na-shoot ni MJ pero 25 yung tinira niya. You have to watch those games. You have to hear the arguments that say, hindi, si LeBron yung GOAT ko
Yeah.
Because you have to hear it. They're entitled to their opinion. I think that's what's great for the game is the respectful discussion that people can have. Nagkataon lang parang we all agree na parang MJ is the GOAT. But I think if myself or Yael came on here on this podcast, di naman tayo nag-pre-prod or anything I think if I came on to this podcast and I said, guys, GOAT ko talaga si Kendall Gill Sorry guys Parang Kendall Gill talaga yung GOAT ko I don't think na parang either of the Gambola boys are gonna be like, PI ka, Ramos, get out of, out of our podcast. So, matatawa kayo. You'll ask me about it. You'll tell me why I'm wrong. And, we'll laugh about it. And kung magkakasama lang tayo, di parang, okay, isang bucket pa. Pag-usapan natin yung gig ni Yael. And I think that's really parang where the heart of what's the great thing about this game is for people like us who don't play it at an elite level is you have friends, you can talk about it with your friends, and then you can laugh about what you disagree on. And then, like parang, okay na, you're respectful about it. So, I think if you use that kind of like parang as a compass, I think that's a great tip to give to people who want to work in sports. Na parang, saka, most importantly, enjoy nyo lang, guys. Parang, if there's anything that COVID has proven to us, guys, parang yung basketball, basketball lang yan.
Oo nga eh.
Ang dami mas
That's true. That's
importante
really true.
bagay,
Yeah.
di ba?
Yeah.
So parang just enjoy it, love it. Masasaya yung buhay niyo, promise. Tas if you choose to work in the industry, then mas magiging fulfilling siya if talagang na-enjoy mo yung basketball kahit na hindi na nanalo yung paborito mo.
Okay.
Alam mo yung sinasabi ngayon pa
Go ahead,
story point based on sa sinasabi ni Nikko Ramos about what it takes. Yun as entering like, you know, the sportscasting world, it's exactly the same for music. Kailangan talaga, meron ka appreciation for just making music. Hindi mo siya gagawin for applause. Kasi it's nice to hear clapping. It's good. Pero parang end of the day, parang kailangan mahal mo siya eh. Kasi pag mahal mo yung isang bagay, umaabot sa point na kahit wala yung clapping, gusto mo yung ginagawa mo, tapos may fulfillment eh. Tapos yun yung parang, yun yung base eh. Parang yun yung base na kailangan na meron. Parang hindi ka mapasok sa music industry thinking na, ano gusto mo gawin? Gusto kong maging superstar hotshot with 50 hit singles eh. Parang, how do we get there? Kung yung ang goal mo ay gano'n, tapos may meaning, sincerity, at love for the game, yung pinapasok mo yung field. Kasi kung sa sports may ganun na, sa music lalo na parang they can tell when you're a fake. Parang you can do parang imagine mo, kung may someone who's already like made it like in music, that someone who's a legend. Tapos gawin mo, kung maghanap pa ng isang exacto nila caricature na bata na wala kang nagagawa, kaya ganun yung swap at pasok. Yung parang darating may feather boa, tapos parang, what's up, people? Parang, who's gonna listen to this guy? So,
the douche factor.
The douche factor eh. So parang yun talaga kailangan mahal mo pag papasok ka sa isang bagay. Yun talaga yung best advice cracking into any kind of field. Kasi eventually masasupap ka from fake eh. Pwede ka siguro maging amusement for 15 minutes dahil parang, wow, look at this guy, sobrang feeling. Yeah. Astig, ha. But after a few ha-has and shares on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, whatever, after a while, it's like, okay, you go to your tried and tested homemade chicken. Na parang, sarap ito. Gusto ko pakinggan na for all these years. So, ganun din eh. Parang importante ko rin na mahal mo yung gagawin mo. In anything. Kasi as long as may passion ka, you can, kahit madaling ma-overcome yung odds eh. Parang, watching Michael Jordan, gusto niya kasi maglaro eh. Yeah. Yun eh. Kaya nga, nawalan siya ng shot na maglaro na for a 7th title. Bigla siya, may ko ng boses niya, parang, bigat yung throat na rin, naiiyak siya bigla sa idea na hindi siya binigyan ng shot ng 7th title. Hindi naman kung matalo siya. Kung natalo siya, binigyan ng 7th title, Tito, bukhag lang yun. Na parang, guys, that was it. Okay na yun. That was our real last dance. Okay na. Pero ang sakit, ma-miss yung chance. Dahil pag mahal yung bagay, masakit hindi mo bigyan ng pagkakataon. Pero pagka gusto mo lang sumikat, parang ano lang yun eh. Puchu-puchu, in the words of something. My wife's laughing at the word puchu-puchu. She can't even say like a few meters away. You can use that for like, hindi ba naman kaya mo, puchu-puchu na. Mental deal.
Okay, yeah, I think that's about it. Time is running out dito sa Zoom. What an episode. Thank you, Nikko Ramos. Thank you, Yael. Such a huge honor to have
guys.
you guys.
Yes. Thank you so
grabe
much.
bitin yung 40 minutes sa atin. We had to do meeting rooms for this one. So,
alam mo, medyo nakakayak yung content ni Nikko Ramos eh. Medyo nakakayak yung part na yun.
Highlight ko yun. Most likely.
Heart yun, heart man. That's hard. Teka lang, baka magalit lagi mga James Harden fans sa akin mo sa doon.
Again, the apology to James Harden continues. As always, thank you to my partner. Go ahead. Yeah.
And taga-Artesia kasi si high school at Artesia High School at si James Harden. Yung mga pinsan ko kasi taga-high school. Tapos lagi ako na nagbabakasyon eh. So parang, naisip ko parang one day parang kumakain ako ng chicken joy kasi may chicken joy doon. Tapos biglang pagkagano ko si James Harden parang, hey, I've heard what you said about me. What's a chicken joy? Kinuha niya.
Pag nag-champion si James Harden this season, ikaw yung una namin i-interviewin. Agad.
Okay.
Champion siya this season.
I think that is not gonna happen.
Anytime soon.
You never know. Itong COVID, we never expected this COVID, and yet here we are. We can never expect Clyde
What if he
Drexler.
makes his own super team, di ba? Come on.
Oh, you never know, di ba? James Harden, the greatest pala. But again, I think that's about it. Thank you to my partner, Gambola. Thank you to Nikko Ramos. Thank you to Yael Yuzon. This is probably one of the many episodes that we will do together. As always, thank you to Basketball Kick Spanish. So that's about it. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Stop.